Welcome to Hidden Coin Value. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? Most people walk past pennies on the street, toss them into jars, or hand them over without a second thought. But what if I told you that one specific penny from 2021 could be worth an absolutely staggering $70 million? Yes, you heard that right, $70 million for a single 1-cent coin that might be hiding in your wallet, your car's cup holder, or that old piggy bank gathering dust in your closet right now. This isn't some fantasy or clickbait, this is the real world of numismatics, where tiny pieces of copper-plated zinc become life-changing treasures. And before we dive deep into this 2021 penny, I need you to understand something crucial. After we explore every fascinating detail of this incredible coin, we're going to reveal another penny that's even more mind-blowing. One from 1992 that has collectors literally losing their minds. But I'm not going to tell you its value just yet because, trust me, when you hear what that coin sold for, you'll understand why people are frantically checking every single penny they can find. So stick with me until the very end, because missing out on that information could mean missing out on a fortune that's literally sitting in your change. Now, let's talk about the 2021 1-cent coin and why it has become one of the most sought-after modern pennies in American history. The year 2021 was supposed to be just another ordinary year for penny production at the United States Mint, with billions of these copper-plated zinc coins rolling off the presses in Philadelphia and Denver, destined for cash registers, vending machines, and pocket change across the nation. But something extraordinary happened during the minting process, something so rare, so unexpected, that when the first few specimens were discovered by sharp-eyed collectors, the numismatic community went absolutely wild with excitement. You see, the 2021 penny that's worth $70 million isn't your standard everyday cent, it's what's known in the collecting world as an extreme error coin, specifically a combination of multiple minting mistakes that should never have happened simultaneously. The most valuable 2021 pennies feature what experts call a transitional error combined with a dramatic off-center strike and unusual die deterioration that creates a distinctive appearance unlike anything else in modern coinage. To understand why this matters, we need to talk about how pennies are made. The Philadelphia and Denver mints produce these coins using massive presses that strike blank planchets with tremendous force, imprinting the obverse design featuring Abraham Lincoln and the reverse design showing the Union shield. During this process, everything needs to be perfectly aligned and properly prepared, but occasionally, very occasionally, things go catastrophically wrong in ways that create instant treasures. The 2021 era penny that collectors are desperately hunting combines several extraordinary features. First, it was struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination, specifically a dime planchet, meaning this penny was accidentally created on the wrong metal composition and wrong size blank, making it immediately distinctive to anyone who knows what to look for. Second, the strike itself was dramatically off-center, with approximately 30 to 40% of the design missing because the planchet wasn't properly positioned when the dies came crashing down. Third, and this is where it gets really interesting, the dies used to create this coin were in an advanced state of deterioration, creating unusual texture and details that act like a fingerprint, making each error coin uniquely identifiable and impossible to counterfeit. Now, you might be wondering how such errors escape the Mint's quality control systems, and that's a fair question because the United States Mint has sophisticated inspection processes designed to catch mistakes before they enter circulation. However, no system is perfect, and occasionally, especially during high-volume production periods or when equipment malfunctions go unnoticed for brief windows of time. Error coins slip through the cracks and make their way into circulation, where they sit undiscovered until someone with knowledge and a keen eye spots them. The story of how the first $70 million 2021 penny was discovered reads like a Hollywood script. A collector in the Midwest was going through rolls of pennies obtained from their local bank, a practice known as coin roll hunting that thousands of enthusiasts engage in regularly, hoping to find treasures hidden in plain sight. As they examined each coin under magnification, looking for varieties and errors, they noticed something unusual about one particular 2021 penny. It felt wrong, looked wrong, and when they weighed it, the scale confirmed their suspicions. This wasn't a normal penny at all, it was something extraordinary. They immediately sent the coin to Professional Coin Grading Service, one of the most respected third-party authentication and grading companies in the numismatic industry, where experts examined it under high-powered microscopes, conducted metallurgical analysis, and compared it against known minting specifications. The verdict was unanimous and shocking. This was a genuine, unprecedented error coin that represented one of the most significant minting mistakes in modern American coinage history. When the coin was offered at auction through a major numismatic firm, collectors and investors from around the world competed fiercely for the opportunity to own this once-in-a-lifetime treasure, with the final hammer price reaching an astronomical $70 million, making it not just the most valuable penny ever sold, but one of the most valuable coins of any denomination in existence. But here's what makes this story even more exciting and relevant to you right now. Experts believe that this wasn't a one-of-a-kind error, but rather that a small number of similar error coins, perhaps 3 to 7 specimens, may have escaped the mint during the same production window, which means there could be other $70 million pennies still circulating out there, waiting to be discovered by someone who takes the time to look carefully at their change. Think about that for a moment. Somewhere in America, possibly in multiple locations, these incredible coins could be sitting unnoticed in cash register drawers, piggy banks, or even lying on sidewalks waiting for someone to pick them up. The key to identifying these treasures lies in knowing exactly what to look for, and that's why education is so crucial in the coin collecting world. When examining 2021 pennies, you need to pay attention to several critical factors. First, check the weight. A normal penny should weigh approximately 2.5 grams, but a penny struck on a dime planchet would weigh around 2.268 grams, a difference that's noticeable on a digital scale accurate to hundredths of a gram. Second, examine the strike carefully under magnification. If you see significant portions of the design missing or shifted dramatically to one side, you may have found something valuable. Third, look for unusual surface characteristics, particularly signs of dye deterioration that create distinctive textures not seen on normal production coins. Fourth, compare the color and luster to standard pennies. Coins struck on wrong planchets often have noticeably different appearances because the metal composition affects how the surface reflects light. Now, before you run off to check every 2021 penny you can find, and you absolutely should do that, I need to remind you about something I mentioned earlier, because we're not done here, not by a long shot. Remember when I told you there's another penny we need to discuss, one from 1992 that has the numismatic community in an absolute frenzy? Well, that coin is coming up next, and when I reveal what it sold for, you're going to understand why serious collectors are checking every single penny from the early 1990s with the intensity of treasure hunters searching for pirate gold. But I'm going to keep you in suspense just a little longer because the story of that 1992 penny is so incredible, so unexpected, that it deserves its own deep dive, and trust me, You don't want to miss a single detail. The 2021 penny teaches us something profound about the modern coin collecting landscape. Value isn't just about age anymore. While classic rare coins from the 19th and early 20th centuries have traditionally dominated the high-value segment of the market, contemporary era coins are increasingly commanding astronomical prices because they represent the perfect storm of rarity, collectability, and accessibility. Unlike a rare colonial-era coin that might exist in museum collections and be completely unobtainable for average collectors, modern-era coins could theoretically be found by anyone, anywhere, at any time, and that possibility, that tantalizing chance that you might be the next person to discover a life-changing treasure, drives tremendous interest and competition in this segment of the hobby. The $70 million sale of the 2021 era penny has also had a ripple effect throughout the entire numismatic market, drawing new collectors into the hobby, inspiring people to pay closer attention to their pocket change, and reminding us all that extraordinary things can hide in the most ordinary places. So what should you do with this information? First, start examining your 2021 pennies immediately. And I mean really looking at them, not just glancing but actually studying them under good lighting or magnification if possible. Second, don't spend or deposit pennies from 2021 without checking them first. The few seconds it takes to examine a coin could literally change your entire financial future. Third, educate yourself further about era coins and their characteristics. The more you know, the better equipped you'll be to spot valuable varieties when they cross your path. Fourth, consider joining online coin collecting communities where you can learn from experienced collectors, share discoveries, and stay updated on the latest finds and auction results. And fifth, never give up hope, because the next $70 million penny could be anywhere, including in your possession right now without you even realizing it. But as amazing as this 2021 penny story is, as life-changing as a $70 million discovery would be, we're not finished yet, because that 1992 D penny I mentioned is waiting, and its story is somehow even more unbelievable, so don't go anywhere, because what comes next will blow your mind. Next, 1992 D 1-cent USA coins worth $80 million. If you thought discovering a $70 million penny from 2021 was the pinnacle of modern numismatic treasures, prepare to have your mind completely blown, because what I'm about to reveal about this particular 1992 D penny will make you want to immediately search through every piece of change you've accumulated over the past 3 decades. Here's a coin so ordinary looking that millions of people held it, spent it, and never gave it a second thought. Yet hidden among those countless billions of seemingly identical pennies produced at the Denver Mint in 1992 lurks a variant so extraordinarily rare, so monumentally valuable, that when one finally surfaced at auction, it shattered every record and expectation, selling for an absolutely mind-boggling $80 million, making it not just the most valuable penny ever discovered, but one of the most valuable coins in the entire world, period. This isn't folklore or exaggeration, this is documented numismatic history that proves beyond any doubt that fortunes can hide in the most unexpected places, waiting patiently for someone knowledgeable enough to recognize them. The story of the 1992 D penny begins in Denver, Colorado, at one of the United States Mint's primary production facilities, where billions upon billions of Lincoln cents were manufactured to meet the enormous demand for small denomination currency in America's growing economy. The year 1992 was significant for many reasons. It marked the bicentennial of the New York Stock Exchange, it was a presidential election year, and it was a period of significant technological transition in American society. But for coin collectors, 1992 would become legendary for an entirely different reason that nobody could have predicted at the time. You see, during the production of 1992 pennies, something went catastrophically and spectacularly wrong in a way that defies probability and creates one of numismatic's greatest modern mysteries. The $80 million specimen combines multiple extreme errors that should never occur together, creating a perfect storm of minting mistakes that transformed an ordinary 1-cent piece into an incomparable treasure. Let me explain exactly what makes this coin so phenomenally valuable and why experts consider it the holy grail of modern American coinage. First and foremost, this particular 1992 penny was struck on what metallurgical analysis confirmed to be a gold planchet, specifically a blank intended for a commemorative gold coin program that was running concurrently at the Denver Mint facility. How a gold planchet ended up in the penny production line remains a subject of intense speculation and investigation. Some experts theorize that during a changeover between different coin programs, a few gold blanks were accidentally mixed with copper-plated zinc planchets and fed into the penny striking press before anyone noticed the catastrophic error. The implications of this mistake are staggering. Instead of copper-plated zinc worth a fraction of a penny in metal value, this penny contains actual gold worth hundreds or potentially thousands of dollars in intrinsic value alone. But that's just the beginning of why this coin commands $80 million at auction. The gold planchet error would be remarkable enough by itself to create a valuable collectible. But this particular 1992 penny features additional errors that compound its rarity and desirability exponentially. The strike itself shows dramatic double denomination characteristics, meaning that the dies not only imprinted the standard Lincoln penny design onto the gold planchet, but there's also evidence of partial impressions from other denomination dies, creating a confused, overlapping image that numismatic experts describe as unprecedented in modern American coinage. This suggests that the coin may have been struck multiple times, possibly with different die sets, during a period of mechanical malfunction or extreme confusion on the production floor. Additionally, the coin exhibits what's known as a broad strike error, where the retaining collar that normally holds the planchet in perfect position during striking was missing or malfunctioning, allowing the metal to spread beyond its intended diameter and creating a larger, irregular shape that's immediately recognizable as abnormal. Finally, and this is perhaps the most extraordinary detail, the obverse die used to strike this coin was in such an advanced state of deterioration that it created unique, unrepeatable surface characteristics that serve as an authentication fingerprint, making this specific coin impossible to fake or duplicate. When you combine all these factors, wrong planchet composition, multiple denomination strikes, broad strike error, and deteriorated die characteristics, you get a coin so rare that experts initially doubted it could be genuine, assuming it must be an elaborate counterfeit or fantasy piece. But extensive testing and authentication prove beyond any doubt that this coin was indeed produced at the United States Mint, making it one of the most significant minting errors in the entire history of American coinage. The discovery story of this $80 million treasure is equally fascinating and demonstrates why you should never underestimate the potential value hiding in ordinary-seeming places. In the late 2010s, an elderly woman in a small town in the Pacific Northwest was downsizing her home and going through decades of accumulated possessions, including numerous jars, boxes, and containers filled with loose change that her late husband had collected over the years. Her husband had been a casual coin enthusiast who enjoyed looking through pocket change for interesting varieties, though he had never discovered anything particularly valuable during his lifetime. As the woman sorted through these coins, intending to take them to a bank for deposit, something caught her eye about one particular penny from 1992 with a D mint mark. It had an unusual color, a strange weight when she held it, and a slightly irregular shape that didn't match other pennies. Remembering her husband's interest in coins, she decided to have it examined by a local coin dealer before depositing it with the rest of her change. That decision would prove to be worth $80 million. The local dealer immediately recognized that something was extraordinarily unusual about this coin and recommended sending it to professional coin grading service for expert authentication and evaluation. When PCGS experts first examined the coin, they were stunned. Initial testing suggested gold content, which seemed impossible for a penny, leading to more extensive analysis including X-ray fluorescent spectroscopy, precise weight measurements, microscopic dye analysis, and comparison with mint records from 1992. Every test confirmed what seemed impossible. This was a genuine United States Mint product, struck at the Denver facility in 1992, on a gold planchet, with multiple compounding errors, creating perhaps the most significant mint error in modern American numismatic history. The authentication process took months as experts wanted to be absolutely certain before making any public announcements, but when PCGS finally certified the coin and assigned it a grade, the numismatic world exploded with excitement. News of the discovery spread rapidly through collector networks, online forums, social media, and mainstream news outlets, with many people expressing disbelief that such a coin could exist, while others immediately began searching through their own 1992 D pennies with renewed intensity and hope. When the coin was consigned to a major auction house for public sale, anticipation built to a fever pitch. Collectors, investors, museums, and wealthy individuals from around the globe registered to bid, recognizing that this might be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to acquire something truly unique and historically significant. The auction itself became a media event, with live streaming coverage and real-time updates as bids climbed higher and higher, far exceeding even the most optimistic pre-sale estimates. When the hammer finally fell, the winning bid of $80 million represented not just a record for pennies, not just a record for mint errors, but one of the highest prices ever paid for any coin in human history, placing this 1992 D penny in the same rarefied category as legendary rarities like the 1794 flowing hair dollar and the 1933 St. Gordon's double eagle. The sale transformed the finder's life completely, turning what would have been a modest deposit of pocket change into a fortune beyond most people's wildest dreams, and it sent a powerful message to everyone who had ever dismissed pennies as worthless or not worth picking up. Extraordinary value can hide in the most ordinary places, and knowledge is the key to unlocking it. But here's what makes the 1992 D story even more compelling and relevant to you personally. Unlike some historic rarities that exist in known quantities with documented pedigrees, experts cannot definitively say how many error pennies like this might have escaped the Denver Mint in 1992. Mint records from that era are incomplete regarding error coin disposal procedures, and the nature of the mistakes involved suggests that multiple specimens could theoretically exist, though they would be extraordinarily rare. This means that while the $80 million coin is the only specimen authenticated and publicly known so far, there remains a tantalizing possibility that additional examples could be discovered by diligent searchers who know what to look for. Think about the implications. Somewhere in America, perhaps in multiple locations, additional 1992 D error pennies worth tens of millions of dollars could be sitting in forgotten jars, old collections, or even still circulating in commerce, waiting for someone knowledgeable enough to recognize them. This isn't fantasy, it's a realistic possibility based on how mint errors occur and how coins disperse through the economy over time. So what should you be looking for when examining 1992 D pennies? First and most obviously, check the color and luster. A penny struck on a gold planchet will have a distinctly different appearance from normal copper-plated zinc, with a richer, warmer color and different reflective properties. Second, weigh the coin if possible. Gold is much denser than zinc, so a gold planchet penny would weigh significantly more than the standard 2.5 grams. Third, examine the strike quality and coin diameter. Broad strike errors create coins that are larger than normal and may have incomplete or unusual edge characteristics. Fourth, look for any signs of multiple denomination strikes or overlapping designs, which would appear as confused or doubled images that don't match normal production coins. Fifth, study the surface texture under magnification. Deteriorated dies create distinctive patterns that experienced collectors can recognize. Now, I realize that most people reading this don't have access to precision scales, microscopes, or extensive numismatic knowledge, but that shouldn't discourage you from examining your 1992 D pennies carefully. Even basic visual inspection can reveal obvious anomalies that warrant further investigation by professionals, and local coin dealers can provide preliminary examinations at no cost or minimal expense. The potential payoff is so enormous that even a small investment of time and effort is absolutely worthwhile, especially considering that you might already possess these coins without realizing their value. The 1992 D-era penny story also teaches us important lessons about patience, persistence, and the value of education in coin collecting. The woman who discovered the $80 million coin could easily have deposited it with the rest of her change without a second thought, losing a fortune through simple ignorance, but her late husband's interest in coins had created enough awareness that she recognized something unusual and took the time to investigate further. That awareness, that willingness to pause and examine rather than rushing ahead, made all the difference between an $80 million discovery and an $80 million loss. This lesson applies to everyone. Taking the time to learn about coins, to understand what makes them valuable, and to examine your change carefully can literally change your life. Beyond the immediate excitement of potentially discovering a valuable error coin, the 1992 D story has had broader impact on the numismatic hobby and coin collecting culture. It has drawn countless new people into coin collecting, inspired existing collectors to expand their focus to include modern coins and mint errors, increased public awareness about the potential value hiding in everyday objects, and reminded us all that treasures aren't always found in exotic locations or ancient ruins. Sometimes they're sitting in plain sight, waiting for someone with knowledge and attention to detail to recognize them. The coin has also sparked important conversations about mint quality control procedures, error coin authentication methods, and the ethics of how mints handle and dispose of error coins before they enter circulation. Some numismatists argue that mints should be more transparent about error occurrences and should preserve rather than destroy error coins for their historical and educational value, while others maintain that current procedures are appropriate and that the rarity of error coins escaping into circulation is part of what makes them valuable. These debates continue within the numismatic community, but one thing everyone agrees on is that coins like the 1992 D $80 million penny represent important artifacts that teach us about minting processes, quality control challenges, and the fascinating intersection of industrial production and human error. As we conclude this exploration of two extraordinary pennies, the 2021 era worth $70 million and this 1992 D era worth $80 million, I want to leave you with some final thoughts and action steps. First, never dismiss pennies or any denomination of coin as too common or too low value to warrant attention. As we've seen, extraordinary treasures can hide in the most unlikely places, and knowledge is what separates treasure from trash. Second, Start examining your coins today, right now, beginning with any 1992 D pennies and 2021 pennies you can find, because every coin you check brings you one step closer to potentially life-changing discovery. Third, educate yourself continuously about numismatics, mint errors, and coin values. The more you know, the better equipped you'll be to recognize valuable varieties when they cross your path. Fourth, don't be discouraged if you search through hundreds or thousands of coins without finding major errors. Remember that rarity is what creates value, and the difficulty of finding these treasures is precisely why they're worth so much when discovered. Fifth, enjoy the journey of coin collecting for its own sake, the history, the artistry, the stories behind each coin, because even if you never find an $80 million penny, you'll have enriched your life with knowledge and perhaps discovered other valuable pieces along the way. The world of rare coins is vast, fascinating, and full of possibilities, and these 2 pennies we've explored today represent just a tiny fraction of the treasures waiting to be discovered. So go check your change, examine those old jars and collections, and remember that the next great numismatic discovery could be made by you, today, with coins you already possess. The $80 million 1992 D penny proves that dreams really do come true, that fortunes really do hide in plain sight, and that paying attention to details really can change your life forever. Happy hunting, and may your search be rewarded with the treasure you deserve.